This video is not going to be a science video where we're going to talk about formulas. This video is about how to take corners safely and perhaps a little bit faster than you're doing now. I'll get rid of the hat. So, cornering. Now, let me start by saying firstly that this is not for the racetrack. This is completely different. This is for probably 95% of the people who just ride on the roads. So if you're a racing track rider, ignore this video. For the rest of us, I'd like to start with a story and what inspired me perhaps to tell you a little bit about how you can corner quickly and safely, and what led up to this moment. So many years ago, I was down in the West Country riding a motorcycle, and I went round a corner. You know, lots of lovely, beautiful countryside down there. Went round a corner, and right out of the blue, a policeman on a motorcycle was coming the other way, and he stuck his arm out like that. And I wouldn't say it took my head off, but it was literally, wow, well, that was close. Now, what was interesting, in my naivety, I was going like 50 or 60 miles an hour in one direction. He was going 50 or 60 in the other direction. And in my brain, I thought, well, if he's trying to point something out, talk to me or whatever, he'll never catch me because I'm actually going to be riding, completely opposite direction, multiply the speeds in opposite directions, he'll never catch me. Well, that was rather stupid of me because, of course, within a couple of bends, he'd caught up with me. In fact, he turned his bike around and just caught up with me. And I actually, when we stopped, I said to him, I'm just really impressed by how quickly you've just caught up with me. And he said, well, sit down and listen and I'll tell you how to ride a little bit quicker and a little bit safer, especially around corners, he said, because I don't know if you realised, he said, but where your positioning was on the road, your head, when you leant over, was almost over the other side of the road. And I said, well, I never really thought about it. He said, well, if I'd have been a big truck, a little bit wider, maybe perhaps, not concentrating, it may have caused a problem, or at least you might have had to take an avoiding sort of manoeuvring and stuff like that. So he talked about sticking to the outside line, and I never really understood what he meant, but I started to move over more and more and more. And then some years later, I did an Institute of Advanced Motoring, and another police biker, actually, brilliant guy, really started to teach me about this and push me further and further over. And so I learned that the more you move over, and this is a right-hand bend. No, we're in the UK, so we're riding on the left, and this is a swooping right-hand bend. And what he was saying was, and what I've learned is that the more you move over to the left, the more visibility you have. Because, of course, again, it's not a racetrack. In this situation here, you probably have, trees and hedges and all sorts of things. Might even have an old farm building or whatever. So you can't really see around this corner. We haven't developed that seeing around the corner eyesight yet, and it's not on any motorcycles I know. So what you need to do is move left to get more visibility. So what I thought I'd do is just demonstrate this using the whiteboard, and I've got a straight edge and a couple of crayons here, so whiteboard markers. Let's give it a go. So we've got one motorcycle. Let's put that one right on the edge, going around the corner. And you've got colleague riding with them, riding next to them, and they've got almost onto the middle divider. There's sort of a dotted white line down the middle. And let's just have a look at what they can see from that positioning. So if I take the green one first, get my straight edge, and put that right on the corner. Let's see if I can get that. So it's right on the corner, from the middle of the bike onto the corner. So something like that. Actually, it was on the edge of the bike. That's okay. So that person riding that bike can see that much. Okay. Now let's have a look at the other rider. try and do the same then from that edge onto that corner. Okay, so hopefully you can see that there's quite a bit of difference between the two. Hopefully the camera picks this up. So there's quite a bit of margin here between the two, and more importantly, had there been a vehicle coming round the corner the other way, and let's assume for a moment the vehicle is concentrating, they're not on their mobile phone, they're not drinking a coffee or taking a swig of water, they're not looking at a map, they're not distracted. Let's assume that this car actually is in, you know, relatively the right position, and let's put them here. Okay, traveling in that direction. You can see that the person with the outside, on the outside edge, can see that car before the other person can, the one in the red. And those microseconds or milliseconds or whatever it is, if you're traveling at 30, 40, 50 or even faster miles per hour, are going to give this person the edge in terms of safety, and of course knowing that he can go around this corner a little bit faster because he's seen that the car is in the right position, i.e. on their side of the road, and this person has seen the bend and worked out, yes, it's a safe bend and I can go, you know, as quick as I feel safe going around that corner. What's interesting, of course, is by going over this left-hand side, they can also see some potholes. And I mention that because if you've got drains or potholes or lots of leaves, it's autumn right now, lots of leaves piling up, you don't want to go too far over, but you can see them at quite a distance ahead. And I mentioned video there because at the end of this video, I took my action camera out and I stuck it on my helmet and took some video, and I've just got a couple of minutes where I'm going to show you the positioning. And interestingly enough, in one of these shots I'm trying to move to the left for a right hand bend just like this, and I see that there is a drain there on the left hand side, so I couldn't get as left as I like, but that's fine. I'm obviously missed the drain. And then I can still see further around than I could here. And equally, had I been here, there's no chance of my head going over the line and an accident happening. So that's really how you should position this. What's very interesting, and if you watch other videos on this on YouTube, is that what can happen if you get your positioning wrong is that you can panic and start to think to yourself, if, for example, as you progress up here, I'm not going to make the corner, I'm going too fast, the car is further over the dotted lines. And then what can happen very quickly is something called target fixation. And you see that a lot on YouTube videos where people are fixated on something, and because they're looking in that direction and saying to themselves, oh my goodness, I don't want to go over a cliff, or I don't want to hit that wall or that barrier or that tree or whatever it is, because they're saying that, they're looking at it, and of course the bike will go in the direction that you're looking. So you need to get in the right position in the first place, make sure you're in the right gear, doing the right speed. But of course, if it does happen, and you do get yourself into that situation where you get target fixation, the best remedy I can say is, and it takes a lot of practice, is to just self-talk yourself all the time into turning your head, into saying, I'm looking over there, and move your head. Because if you look over in this direction, where there's a brick wall, or as I say, could be something worse, you will be going, your bike will take you in that direction. So if you turn your head and actually look where you want to be, the bike will start to move in that direction. Don't, if you're jamming on the brakes and slamming down the gears and literally thinking, oh my goodness, what if I hit that tree? You're probably heading in that direction. And as I say, it's all over YouTube. You watch people time after time hitting walls, getting target fixation. So what I tell myself is, Nick, just look, and because I drag my head around as I'm going around the corner, my bike starts to go with me. So if I get it wrong occasionally, hey, we all do, I force myself and to look around there so the bike goes around the corner. So that's a couple of things on the positioning, and I hope you find that of interest. It takes practice and it takes a bit of nerve to move more and more to the left on the right hand bend so that you can get the view, because you're always worried about, as I said before, leaves, drain pipes, drain manhole covers, loose gravel, etc. But honestly, by moving to the left, you'll get a better view, and then you can go a little bit faster if you want to, and certainly more safer. What's interesting, of course, is that if you move these motorcycles backwards, or indeed a little bit more forwards, you'll see that that gap is quite different. So I'll just quickly draw that for you now. So if the bikes were back here, then this is the green one as well. Try and do it evenly. It's just a different angle again. So if you take that one there across the top, you get something like that. So you can see that's even further back. There's no visibility of the car, but the red one's in the same situation. So something like, the view, it's a long way from the car. You have no idea what's coming around that corner because you're in the wrong position. But this green one straight away now, it may take a 10 yards, 5 yards, 2 meters, could be a millisecond, depending on all the speed you're doing. But this person is going to see that vehicle a lot quicker and then can continue round in a safe fashion. And as I say, it's a good job this person isn't over the line, because that could cause a problem. So hopefully that's worked for you. This, as I said right at the beginning, this is not for racing bikes. It's a different mentality. One of the things I used to do when I was very young was I rode I say a racing bike. It was in those days a Bantam 125 BSA Bantam 125, and I did Liddon Hill, and I did go to Brands Hatch, and it really wasn't for me. I wasn't good at it. But there was a different mentality if you're going around corners. Firstly, everyone's going in the same direction, obviously. There aren't any vehicles coming at you, there aren't any trees, there aren't any potholes and stuff like that. So it's completely different. So for this, I would suggest you try it by hugging that left-hand side when you're going around the right-hand corner. Now, of course, what that means the other way, and I'll try and draw that quickly just to show you on there what that would mean. So if you were going around a left-hand bend, so it's something like that, and there's the dotted line down the middle, what you should be doing here is going almost on the white line. So you're roughly here. You're not over the white line. But of course, by pulling yourself over to the middle, you've now got a lot more visibility around this corner. So if I put that straight edge on there, try and show you. You've got a lot more visibility than you would have if you were hugging this corner. And the problem, again, you see it so many times on YouTube and places where people have got their line wrong, then they're either trying to, straighten the bike up, brake, change gear, they're in the wrong place, so they can't get around the corner as smoothly and as quickly and safely as they should be able to. So, as I say, practice moving to the left. If you're going around a right-hand bend, practice moving yourself to the right. If you're going around a left-hand bend, and you'll get more visibility. I hope that helps, and I'm going to stitch on the action camera piece at the end of this so that you can see what I mean when I'm actually riding. I've got I think it's 2 minutes of me talking about it, just so you can see my positioning. And I think in this I mentioned not only is there a sort of a drain cover, but I'm trying to overtake a car I'm riding my Royal Enfield 350, so it's not got tons of power, so I need to get it right, I need to get my positioning right, and I need to be able to see and have as much visibility as possible. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this video and the action camera one that follows, and yeah, if you like it, leave some comments, and let's hear your view on this and see your experience. I'd love to hear your experience with taking these corners in this sort of fashion. So thank you very much. Okay, so we are riding along and you can see that it's a twisty road. It's about, I guess, 40, 50, maximum 60 miles an hour. And I'm riding along and I see this Fiat in front of me, so I position to the right to get a view to see when I can overtake. It's a solid white line at the moment, so I can't overtake, and I'm just holding back and thinking about everything. There's a slow sign, I can see a right hand bend coming up. I moved to the far left, but I didn't go so far. Did you see the grid on the left hand side? So I come around the corner, I can see the view opening up. And then I'm thinking to myself, right, this is my chance. Remember, it's only a 350cc, so I'm in the right gear. I overtake, I pull back in, and now I'm coming up to a slight left-hander, so I'm going to keep over to the right, and just so I get a better view. And then I'm going to the left, because I think there's another right-hand bend coming up. So it's not a steep one, so it's just pulled over to the left a little bit. Back over to sort of third point on the road as I look ahead and think to myself, right, where do I need to be for the next bend? And it's a right hander, just a gentle one, so I'm just going to pull over a little bit there. And now it's coming to a left hander, so I'm right on the edge of that white line, so I can get maximum view and maximum speed around that corner in a safe way. And a cyclist was there. Good job I did pull over all the way to the right. And now we're going down the road, and there we go. That's it for today.